Hi, welcome back to Intuition. Thanks for tuning in. We had just discussed when do you become a grown-up? At what point in your life do you consider yourself an adult? On that, there is a bill, came from Massachusetts, HB 1423. It's been introduced, it hasn't been passed yet, it's still sitting there.
Pending.
Yeah, it's pending. But it, what it covers is restricting the sale of violent video games to any persons under 18. The reason being that they are pornographic, quote unquote, and they have no redeeming social merit at all. So
kind of like parental advisory with music.
Right, exactly. But they won't sell it to you, and it's not official.
Yeah.
But they won't sell it to you if you're under 18.
So it's like pornography with just pornography.
Yeah, basically, to have a certain age to purchase it. My question is, I guess all of our question would be, what kind of effect is this going to have? It is, their reasoning behind this, is it worth it? Is this what's needed to kind of change this violent culture? Because everyone talks about how our kids today are less innocent, they're desensitized, and all they want to do is shoot and kill and have sex and all this stuff. Is this a step towards fixing it at all? Is that a video games problem? Are they? I don't know.
I think I've kind of thought about this before because, with my little nephew, he's 7 years old, and he wanted to get, I guess, Halo, or that big phenomenon.
Oh yeah, it's such a good game, Halo 2.
She's gonna advertise it.
I love it.
But like he wanted it, and then we're like, no, you can't. And I caught myself, why am I saying no? He's like such a good child and everything. But they say that they may not become violent, they may not do the exact things on the video, but they become more aggressive. And he has some violent video games, but they're not as what's that called? What's the word?
Like Donkey Kong. They're not as
graphic.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like shooting games.
Mm-hmm.
But he is really aggressive. Like he likes to try to carry me and wrestle and do a head slam on me and stuff when I'm sleeping. And if that's the case, that we're trying to keep that from happening, heck yeah, man, those video games. But like my brothers, like they're all aggressive people because they, my parents didn't really care if they played violent video games. But they were never, I could never see my brother going at, like they say, this would cause university shootings. Like, I could never see him doing that.
I don't. It's to the extreme that way.
Exactly.
But also not even just violence, but Grand Theft Auto. There's some boobies on there.
Prostitutes walking in the street
that you
can up and pick
up.
I
like driving over those.
You know what? Hey, you know what's funny?
Those
A 17-year-old cannot go buy Halo 2, but he could go watch Hostel.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. The rating on the movies as well. There's this
and discrepancy
it's more here between films and video games and stuff like that. Completely. That I do think that film and video games and media, I think that has a huge influence on children. And if you're a child, and if anyone denies this, I will argue with you to the death because it of course it does.
Right.
Children automatically they're sponges when they're little, and if they're constantly exposed to this, there's been studies done on this all the time. It's true, but I don't know if preventing a 16-year-old from buying a video game is really going to help when he can go to his friend's house and get it.
Exactly.
I understand the motive behind it, but my little brother, he's 10, and we never would let him play a violent video game. And I remember so many times I felt like the horrible big sister because we'd be in Blockbuster and he'd be looking at the games. He'd be like, I want this one. And it's like this huge guy with a machine gun. And he's like plowing down everybody. I'm like, no, you can't.
So what age would
How's
be
elbow?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's a good question. What age is a good age?
Because 18 is kind of weird. 18, not only can you now buy video games, you can get cigarettes, and then you can go to war if you want to. So,
But like I said, Hostel, they literally have the graphic scene of oh my gosh, when they would, rape a girl, stick a gun, things like that. Okay, listen. So 17-year-old can go watch that, but then they can't play Grand Theft Auto, where you see naked, lady, but it's like, are those breasts or cones? It's like, come on.
Is that Madonna?
I think the bigger picture here is, someone had mentioned this a few minutes ago too. I think it just comes down to the parenting. And how you choose to raise your children.
That's so
because
true.
if if you're going to let your kid play these games, if you're going to let them go see Hostel and all these other movies, it's so disgusting. And then you wonder, why is he so angry all the time? Why is he so aggressive?
I was allowed to watch Chucky. I was allowed to watch Chucky when I was little. I guess I don't know. My parents were like,
but
it's okay.
what about
And I never touched a redheaded Barbie in my life. No redheaded
Girl.
patch. It affects
Me
kids.
too, or like I never, when you're like stepping out of your bed, I was so scared because you know you always get out of your bed, and I'd be like, oh my gosh,
You remember that stuff. It has an effect on you.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, even to this day, I will not even touch anything. Well, not human redheads, like, but I mean, but the like dolls and stuff like that. No, none of that. Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh.
I think there's something to be said, like, you know.
But what about those places, like, you know, where they have like polygamy, those polygamy societies that they have, and they don't have anything of our culture. Like, they don't have, you know, the violent movies and the video games that our culture has, because they're kind of like, you know, designated. But yet they have, you know, those school shootings that we hear on the news in those societies. I mean, is it really the influence, or is there something else going on within these people? Like, you know, because I know a lot of people really blame society for, oh, the shootings, like, you know,
society is us. Why do people act like, you know, society is this thing that comes and attacks us, and it's society's fault? We're society.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're all part of it,
That's
you know? Like,
we control who we are. We're society.
I should say that right there.
Oh my gosh, but it just makes you think, like, okay, so if it's not really so much the media, you know, since people are really going against the bill, then, I mean, so is it really just parenting? Is that going to...
I think that there's equal parts to it.
Right.
You know, there's not one person or one thing you can blame for it. There's so many different factors that add to it. But, you know, like I was saying with my brother, we didn't let him watch any of that. He couldn't play any of that. And he's a gentle, sweet kid.
Yeah.
You know, but then again...
See, I was able to do that, to tell you the truth. I was able to watch any movie I wanted to. I was able to...
and you came out just fine.
Yeah.
Well, later on.
With the news and everything, and I see things that happen in front of me and stuff like that.
You saw the consequences.
I'm immune to it, to tell you the truth. I'm not as mortified, I guess, if I would, because I've grown up with gory and scary movies and stuff like that. Yeah. Now I'm anti-scary movies.
I think people just need to know the consequences of things.
Teach your kids right.
There you go.
There you go.
Parenting, good parenting. Let's all be good
That's
parents.
the key. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We'll see you next time on Intuition.